Hey, have you heard the piece of management advice that says that there are two kinds of people: ammunition and barrels, as in barrels from a gun?
So you're telling me that HR is okay with this in a day and age when we're trying to treat people as individuals, live human beings? How is that possible?
I don't know, but Lecture 14 in a course that Sam Altman refers people to learn about how to run a startup also happens to be one of the most unhinged and dangerous hours of management advice on the internet, and I thought we needed to talk about it.
Sounds like the Silicon Valley people are running out of metaphors.
They're running out of something. Welcome back to Arguing Agile, and if this is your first time, welcome. I'm your host, Product Manager Brian Orlando, and this is my co-host, Enterprise Business Agility Leader, and the wonderful wizard of the business workflow, Mr. Om Patel.
Wow, elevated once again.
So the talk I referenced in the opening is Lecture 14, How to Operate by Keith Rabois. Is it Rebois?
Rebois.
All right.
So we're going to talk about this talk that he did. And it's quite a long talk, but we're going to talk about the salient points today.
All two of them. It's so chock full of bad ideas and even worse worldviews, to be honest, that we had to bring it on the podcast and put it up on the operating table and find out what's inside.
Absolutely.
So
'cause that's what we do around here.
To be fair, the talk is packed with slick, clean-sounding rules, maximize output, find your barrels, push people till they break, things that you'll hear from unhinged executives throughout your career. I've heard these many times, right? You can feel the subtext underneath. But my hope on this podcast today is that you won't just disagree with the bad points that are expressed in the talk. You will be able to name them out loud. You'll be more aware of them when you hear them repeated from other people. Luckily, some of these are not repeated because like the ammunition barrel thing is pretty explicitly dehumanizing, so I haven't really heard that one in my career, but you'll be able to spot them and kind of stamp them out or question them before they kill somebody or worse.
All right, sit down, buckle up, keep your powder dry, as they used to say.
Yeah, keep your pants on, maybe.
One pair of pants later.
So one of the points in the lecture expresses, and I'm paraphrasing, that the dream here is to build a machine that idiots can run. If that's true, like my first question is, what does that say about the people in your company? If that's your goal,
they're all idiots, and what about the rest of us? Yeah, good question.
Yeah. So the first reason the talk gives for why companies are hard is this: people are irrational. Also, in that vein, is you'll be shocked to learn, water is wet. And,
no.
Yeah, the sky is up.
When did that happen?
Yeah, you'd be shocked. I don't know if you're shocked to learn that, but this the foundation the whole talk is built on. So let's play a clip. Let's learn a bit about what this lecturer is talking about. So we're going to go to the opening reason that companies are hard.
Forging a product, and now you got to forge a company. And I'd actually argue forging a company is much more difficult than forging a product. Basic reason is people are irrational. So you probably all know this. Either your parents, your significant other, your brother or sister, your teacher, somebody in your life is irrational. Building a company is basically taking all the irrational people you know, putting them in one building, and then living with them 12 hours a day at least. So it's very challenging. Now there's techniques for coping with that, and some people get good at it and some people don't, but that's really what operating is about. So basically what you're doing when you build a company is you're building an engine. And at first you have a drawing, literally on a whiteboard, and you're architecting it. And it looks very conceptually clean and beautiful and pretty. But when you start actually translating it to practice, it looks more like this, and you're holding it together with duct tape. And it takes a lot of heroic efforts of people to actually hold it together. That's why people work 80, 100 hours a week, is that heroic efforts is actually necessary to keep this thing together because you don't actually yet have polished metal in place.
So the foundation that this whole talk is built on, that it starts with kind of what he just said, which sounds innocuous. Right, it's building a company. It's like building an engine. You take it out and you lay out all your lovely plans, and it turns out looking like crap and all dirty and held together with duct tape. Spoken by someone who's never built an engine before.
Yeah, especially with a bunch of idiots. Okay, so
also, can you tell 16 seconds in? Can you tell his contempt for?
It might be just a little contempt when he's comparing like a 950cc. engine with a carburetor to a V12.
Yeah, to a V12. But the basic reason is people are irrational. That's the cornerstone that he says. It's a fact that he states, in his opinion, to start with. So people are irrational. So people are irrational. So yeah, that brings us to the steel man. Listen, people are irrational. You got to manage around them.
What if people in the history of mankind not be irrational? As far as I know,
Well, I think he just learned that.
Always being irrational.
11 years ago, he just learned that.
Right.
People are irrational. You got to manage around them. Isn't that diminutive? What's the word for it? Where you're God, there's a good word. It's not coming to my brain right now.
Yeah, it's a rather condescending view, and yeah,
that was the word. Condescending. It is a little condescending.
Oh boy, people are irrational. So what can you do with them? Load them up in barrels and shoot them across the ocean. I guess.
I get you. Put them in incendiary devices. I think that's what. Anyway, the economy of behavior here, the academic would say humans are not rational actors. Like they're not robots. They don't always activate on logic. There's emotion there. Could be having bad days. Okay, so what he's saying is right. This is a very like academic, heady argument that someone can make right here, which is like garbage to me. Like I think I'm with the practitioner here. Hey man, teams of people are messy. Just deal with it. Okay,
that's right.
Plan for it. Deal with it. That there's going to be a mess. Nothing's going to go according to plan. Like everyone knows that. And also again, this category strictly is water is wet. So hey, do we have some better ideas? Like rather than treating people like they're an obstacle that needs to be overcome or quote handled, why don't you just treat them like people? Maybe we try that.
Yeah, maybe give them some free reign to figure things out by themselves and try and fix the environment they work in. How about that for a change?
For having a cynic point as an against point, like what he just told me was like the most cynical thing in the world. People are like putting a company together. Also, who puts a company together by building like a dirty beat up engine? Like what? You put a company together by like using your 2 feet and walking somewhere, and then you like build it into a bicycle, maybe get an extra person. And that's how every company I've ever seen has been built. I guess maybe Silicon Valley companies are different when you get like $3 bajillion from venture firms to just go hire 80 people when you don't even have a product.
Right. That's a successful company, especially if they can raise round 2 and 3.
Was because that model doesn't exist anymore.
That's exactly
free capital's gone. That era is gone. So it's like, and also just from my time being on teams, I mean, I'm just not comparing myself here, but like the behavior makes sense when you actually look at the constraints that the person is under. Somebody being stressed all the time makes a lot of sense if you're the developer that's always up at 2 a.m. because the system that you're maintaining is garbage, traditional legacy, and you don't have enough time to fix it. And of course you can be stressed.
Yeah, but his answer is, just load them up into a barrel and fire away.
I like it. Listen, he's completely turned me around. I would load them up in a barrel, fire away. Stop labeling behavior as irrational. Start hunting the incentive that made it rational. If I'm going to give advice at all, if I have to take this seriously in any way, shape, or form, which I'm not convinced I do, look at incentives here. That's what I'm saying. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments. What is the last time that somebody called yours or a teammate's choices irrational, and then found out that somebody, whether it was somebody else or you, found out that it actually was the smartest option that you had available to you? That'd be an interesting story.
It would be. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that just before they said irrational is when they stopped listening.
Yes. Since we're labeling people today, that's what we're doing on the podcast. Once your resources are irrational, lots of labels being applied. I like it. This is the opposite of what we normally do on the podcast.
That's right.
It's kind of interesting being on the other side of the tracks here. That means that one person has to hold the place together with sheer determination and willpower. And that means we're holding out for a hero. Cue the music. There's no music. We can't afford music on the YouTube.
Boy.
All right, so you decide that only heroes can save you. You're going to start celebrating those hours that the heroes burn. That's what you're going to do because you're a hero. We're a hero culture now. We celebrate heroes. Okay? So the line of thinking says people work 80 or 100-hour work weeks because it's a heroic effort necessary to hold the company together.
Yeah, so it may start as a heroic effort, but doing this consistently soon normalizes that. So now, to be heroic, you got to go 120 hours because it's normal to do 80 to 100.
That's right, you lazy. What are you doing? Only
exactly.
working.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing getting here at at 8:05 a.m. The real winners get here at 7 a.m. and then step to like we're just working 24 hours a day.
That's right. It's so sad. But if you think about it, if you've been working, for a few years, you could probably think about companies that have this kind of a culture. And you can think about how these people felt. I mean, chances are they don't work there anymore because they got washed out, burned out, whatever.
That is the cycle. I remember that cycle from way early in my career, and I would say that corporate America has kind of like been not really like self-punished, but they kind of destroyed their own market, because the market was you get people in young, you burn them out. More people are coming out of college than there are in the workforce anyway, so there's like a glut of new constant supply. Young people get them in, they don't know any better, they're just happy to have a job, just burn them like this. You know what I mean? They age out, you get new younger people in, and the cycle, keeps going. That used to be the treadmill. That used to be the tech treadmill. Mm-hmm. And then like offshoring came in, the cloud came in, and a whole bunch of other stuff came in, And
what else came in is the Gen Z that just said, look, there's more to life than this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. Plain and simple.
Well, good. More, please.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like in this one, I have a citation here. Let me put it on the screen.
And it takes a lot of heroic effort to practice. It looks more like this, and you're holding it together with duct tape. And it takes a lot of heroic efforts of people to actually hold it together. That's why people work 80, 100 hours a week, is that heroic efforts is actually necessary to keep this thing together, because you don't actually yet have polished metal in place.
But yeah, so you hear his words there. You actually need those heroic people. The heroic effort is actually necessary to keep the thing together. The subtext there that clearly comes through for me at the stage of my career that I'm at is, you need that stuff because you can't be bothered to design a system that actually works, or you just don't know how to build it. I mean, maybe you're a 22-year-old, person that someone threw a lot of money at to go build a company. You're not gonna know anything about systems thinking, and
that's okay.
You truly won't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. But you're getting paid a lot. So you know what?
So you don't need to ask. Yeah. So I didn't know where you're going to go with that. So I just picked a direction. It was not the right one, but it was funny.
It was funny.
I got a couple takes in the steel man of this one. I'm going to throw one at you and see what you think about it. How about the heroic hours separate the winners from the losers, the winners from the wannabe, the people who are really hungry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the culture that you're putting in place. So people strive to excel by killing themselves, essentially.
Ooh, can I try one? Here we go. Heroic hours separate the people with families from the people that are single. How about that one? Is that one?
Yeah.
Is that still cynical?
True. No, I don't think it's cynical. No. I mean, look.
Is it illegal? I don't know. Yes, I think
it might be illegal.
I think it's a little illegal. I'm not sure.
You're killing people without using actual weapons, although in this case you might be using barrels and
killing
cannons or something.
Softly.
Yeah.
The early stage lacks polished metal yet. I don't even know what that means. I got to be honest.
He's referring to the polished V12. I mean, you don't get there if you're starting from scratch, right? You've got to go through the stages. And he seems to want to skip that from, describing that dusty old banger to polished metals. Like, you don't get there in a hurry like that.
I will just flatly tell you early in the podcast, I'm not convinced he knows how to build a company. He might have just shown up and thrown some money at the investment of the company and said, I'm going to yell at people and tell them what to do. And they're like, well, then that's Timmy. And, he's got a lot of money invested in this thing. So like,
it stands to reason though that, that is the case, because if he's got cash invested in this thing, then he's going to ask people to keep jumping. So yeah, do the 80 hours and then work the other 80 hours.
The other pushback here, and this is the good one, I think. The one we actually might talk about is these crunches happen when you're in a small company, and they come in waves. You just got to kind of get through them. That's just the culture of a small company, and it's not every week that you're going to be working 80 hours, but sometimes you will, and that's just the crunch happens. Just deal with it, and it's normal.
Yeah, I can go along with that. If it's a small company and you're doing this sporadically but not regularly, I can go along with that. That's fine. These things happen. We do have to tighten our belt once in a while, but that's the key, once in a while. And you're not rewarding that behavior that if you consistently do this, you're the go-getters, right?
Okay, hold that thought, because I want to take all the nuance out of this discussion.
Okay. I like it.
So if this is what you feel like every day, you're probably on the right track. And if that doesn't sound appetizing, you probably shouldn't start a company, truthfully. All right, with that question.
So if this doesn't sound appetizing, you probably shouldn't start a company. It says, do you know how to tell if you're doing the job? If you're up at 3 a.m. every night, talking into a tape recorder and writing notes on scraps of paper, have a knot in your stomach and a rash on your skin, and losing sleep and losing touch with your wife and kids, and have no appetite or sense of humor, and feel that everything might turn out wrong, then you're probably doing the job. That's what he says. So you've got to be a big bowl of anxiousness and unease, and your wife has a, quote, personal trainer, and
your dog left with her,
and your kids hate you, and you're living in a country song. That's what I'm saying. That's what you need for success. That's a formula for success. This guy doesn't have a wife.
This is, I was just saying, if this is what he's preaching at people that might potentially start a company one day, or I don't know, class of business school graduates or undergrads or whatever it might be, I worry. I do.
This is, I mean, listen, this is on the list that Sam Altman thinks people should watch to have a startup. This is a starter advice from the Silicon Valley startupclass.samaltman.com. It's on here. Course number 14, or course lecture 14. He thinks you should see this. This is the stuff they're peddling. It's on YC Root Access. It's got, which has got 362,000 subscribers, a couple more than we do. And then this video, which has been up since November 2014, has just short of 300,000 views as we are watching it, and it's 46 minutes long. This video and the advice in here has been seen by many people, and we don't know. I mean, there's 100 comments, and I only read a couple of them. Only a few of them are calling this guy out for being ridiculous, but other ones is like, this guy is so much better than the other speakers. I don't even want to. I have to watch him at 0.75 speed. It's too useful. So many things I can't skip. I mean, how many of these are bots? I don't know. But
also, how many of these actually started companies? We don't know, right? I kind of agree with Sam Altman that this is a must-watch video, but not necessarily for the same reasons.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
We'll get there. We'll get there. So you probably shouldn't start a company. I don't know, like introduce viewers to a section that we did many, many times of the fear hook of, hey, if you're not really anxious all the time and got a wife and kids and aren't happy at home, like, you probably shouldn't start a company. This one trick, buy my book, $6,000 million or whatever. Like,
right.
Listen, don't try to make me afraid. Like, I'll start a company if I want to.
That's right.
How about that? How about you just give me the best faith advice possible, and whatever I do starting my company is whatever I do. How about that?
Yeah, how about developing genuine empathy for your customer and coming up with something that they might actually need?
I mean, or for people of any kind, but, like, let's not hold our breath because we'll all be dead. So, like, he says no polished metal, and then he praises the symptom of, everything's held together by duct tape and all that stuff. Like, he's praising the symptoms without looking at, why is the machine getting built like that?
Exactly.
Why are we not building and maintaining a nice polished bicycle? Why are we not,
Right.
Why is it like that? The principles here, like the heroics being needed, to me, are evidence of a broken system. That's not proof that there are admirable people doing heroic, efforts or whatever, spending heroic efforts or whatever. That sounds to me like a system is broken.
And we've talked about this on other podcasts before. People who start these sorts of companies and be so-called successful leaders don't really care about the system.
Sure. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess. Like, what's my better ideas? So, if I'm going to have a takeaway from this section, I'm going to say stop admiring the 80-hour work week and start asking what is broken that makes it necessary to work so many hours. Okay. Listen, but also, I've got a history of interacting with PE. Like, normally they prescribe antibiotics for that, but for some reason it won't go away. But this is one of the private equity playbooks. Is they strap you down with debt. They freeze hiring as people leave. They don't replace them. They make do more with less, right? But to the nth degree, that's sort of this as well. You want people to be heroes and step up, but then they're going to burn themselves out. And we'll talk about that later. There's a whole category.
Yeah.
But it's what is broken in the system that makes it necessary to be working all these hours.
Yeah, no amount of on-paper $1 million options make it worthwhile if you're a human being anyway.
The question for you is, what is the most heroic thing that you've seen someone do at your work that should have just been a process fix or, hiring fix? Because, the policies of hiring and whatnot are just another piece of the system, another process of the system. Let us know in the comments, and then let us know if the process ever did get fixed or if it stayed like that. So if we can't just all hold hands and sing We Can Be Heroes, or we sing Heroes by David Bowie, if we can't do that, I mean, listen, we can't because YouTube would strike us. But I think because we all want the machine to be simple as it needs to be, so nobody has to think about piloting it. I think that's what we really want, which is word for word what this talk will recommend next. So here is the destination that the whole lecture is driving towards. One of the destinations anyway. The goal, he says, borrowing a Warren Buffett line, by the way, that we're going to listen to, play it right now. It says he wants to build a company that idiots can run because eventually they will. Okay, we're gonna listen to him now.
Worry about every hour, every minute. And as we used to joke about eBay, that if Martians took over eBay, it would take like 6 months for the world to notice. That's what you want to get to. Or as Warren Buffett says, build a company that idiots can run because eventually they will. So this is what you want. Basically a performance machine that idiots can run. Now as a leader,
build a company that idiots can run because eventually they will, which is very funny. Ha ha ha. Also, like, hey man, get your own quips. Like, stop borrowing Warren Buffett's quips. Go make your own. So the cynic here, the cynic here is obviously you want to make people interchangeable so that they can be replaced. You can't build your whole company around one person. And one person leaves, and then what?
As long as you have a bunch of idiots there, nobody cares, Brian. The people who care should be basically just told to stay in their lane.
Yeah.
And just be morons. And
that is the same people saying this are also the people saying, "Oh, not me though. Not the CEO. I can't. That's right. I am the whole company. You can't live without me."
That's right.
That's the true cynic behind this. Is the backsided, like, I'm saying these are the rules for everyone else, but not me,
because I'm special.
Yeah. Hey, the practitioner here, I think, has the most useful advice that says, look, we're just trying to document what the processes are at the business and what people do in their jobs and stuff like that. And it's, we want to document enough where the whole process doesn't have to live in our heads. It doesn't have to be different from person to person that, picks up the thing, whatever the thing is at work. And that's fine. I completely understand that. I don't really have pushback against that one. The Warren Buffett quote from this one, like in actuality, I didn't dig too deep into it because I'm trying to get to this. There's a lot of content in here to cover, but the authority that he's borrowing from Warren Buffett, he doesn't actually outline why. Like, he doesn't tell me about how to do what he's saying, how to make people interchangeable so you can pull one person out and then plug another person in. Like, what is that system that you're building to make people interchangeable? So the weight that he sets up to be like, make people interchangeable, make it so easy that make the system so easy. Because like I would agree with him on that one. That's a great point.
It's easy to say than do.
It's easy to say it, but again, there's no action here.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't recommend any action. He's fairly short on that.
Buy his book? Is that the
maybe?
I mean, maybe.
We'll go to his next talk.
Yeah. So if you're trying to set up a system that idiots can run, right? Meaning that like it survives whoever you put in that seat, you can do that. You don't need to treat people like machines or whatever to do that.
Right.
Again, this binary choice here, it's false. It's not true. And also, there's a Deming principle here, like underhood, that's starting to brush a lot. Later in the podcast, there'll be a lot of Deming that brushes up against what he's saying. But the first one here to point out is that people give you their best work when you actually care about them and they're doing things that they enjoy doing, because there's like an intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation thing that seems to be like
gone over. Yeah, there's none of that here in this talk, the little that I saw of it. Yeah. I agree with that.
That, again, he didn't bring up. If you design a system that nobody gets any say in, like, then you're removing critical thinking from the system, right? Because nobody even has a say. This is like every team that you can't, we have an issue with. Any executive can come in and tell him, set a date and you have to have the thing by that date. Like, why even bother bringing that up in the retro at that point? If you haven't, hey, stop. It's like the other podcast I talk about with we would bubble something up in the retro, and then the management would say, like, stop complaining about this thing. You keep bringing this thing up in different ways. Stop it. You guys are just complainers. At that point, Yeah. I mean, I guess you really shouldn't be bringing it up again because that's the
Well,
system.
anyway.
Nobody wants you to change the system. They don't want you to change the system.
That's right. In a company like that, if you design a system like that, the real danger is, if that one person who really even has a clue about anything, once he or she goes, what happens? You devolve into basically chaos.
Yeah. So my takeaway is here, stop optimizing for anyone can do this and start optimizing for the person doing it really cares about it. So how can we support that person that really cares about it? And that's really it. I mean, that's the takeaway.
All right. It's a great takeaway.
Hey, I thought so. So what is a job at your company that you never want idiot proofed because the judgment is the job? Ooh, I'll raise my hand. Product management.
Look, even the security guard at the front desk. I mean, the judgment is the job. Are you going to fire that person because they demand the CEO to have their badge visible? Everyone knows that's the CEO, but it's his job, the guard's job, to make sure that all badges are visible. What are you going to do, right? Yeah, I know what I would do.
So if your people are just interchangeable parts, if we're going along with this thinking, then we probably believe that we need a way to measure those interchangeable parts because we need to know when we need to replace a part, right? That's I'm going to stick with this dehumanizing thinking for a minute and to see where it goes. It goes to the dump. Sorry. So to do that, we're going to have to jump in our DeLorean home and we're going to have to hit 88 miles an hour and go back to the 1960s and
say hi to our friend
and say hi to all of our friends from the 60s and grab a cigarette because that's what we do in the 60s. It's fine. It doesn't cause cancer.
As long as it's without a filter.
Completely fine. Yeah, that's right. How do we measure this machine? He pulls from Andy Grove's 1983 book and leans on a clean rule. Your job is to maximize output, and you measure people on output, not input.
So this is what you want. Basically a performance machine that idiots can run. Now, as a leader, what is your real job? What's your role? Strictly speaking, there's only one book ever written that actually explains how to do this. It's a little old. It's written in 1982 by Andy Grove. It's quite famous and quite successful. And his definition of what your job is to maximize the output of an organization, your organization that you're responsible for, so CEOs, everything, and a VP would be part of the organization, and the organizations around you. So if you're a VPE, you actually are responsible for the performance of the product team too, or the marketing team, because you have influence there. So this is how you measure people, and you want to focus on the output, not the input. The old adage about not measuring motion and confusing that with progress, you're measuring only progress. And this is going to sound like a fancy and glamorous thing to do. Maybe people get excited about managing a whole large organization and being responsible for the output. But in practice, what you're going to learn today, hopefully, is that it's more about things like ordering smoothies, teaching your receptionist how to answer the phone properly, and serving as a $10 an hour TaskRabbit for your employees.
1982, I guess. That doesn't make it better. It makes it worse, but I'll check that source.
I think whatever. Output management.
Andy Grove book.
It might have been 82. Who knows?
We'll go find it right now.
It was in the early 80s.
It says originally published 1983 in here.
Okay. All right. 83 it is. Maybe he wrote it in 82.
No. He said 82, but our source said 83, and Google says 83.
Right.
So
okay.
I think he's wrong.
Well, output management.
Chalk it up to one more thing he's wrong about. I mean, to be honest.
It's interesting how he basically simplifies complex leadership like that, of which he was talking about, doing simple things like ordering smoothies for your team when they're still working at 9 p.m. I don't know. That's a little too simplistic for me. Why are they there at 9 p.m. in the first place? Why are they not at their, with their families, right? So if this was 10 years ago, he said, right? 10, 11 years ago.
Yep.
If this had been in the 80s or 90s, maybe even early 90s during the heyday of the internet when everybody was required to work hard because you're all paper millionaires, okay, maybe okay, right? But no, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to say, well, we're getting smoothies for you. You're here at 9 p.m., away from your families. Get back to work after your smoothie.
I was hoping we wouldn't get into this on this podcast of the random and varied incentives that we give to people to keep them hooked on in-office culture. Like in-office culture, like of the slot machine effect that hooks people's brains on gambling.
Yeah.
He's discovered this, but he doesn't name it, or to be honest, he probably doesn't understand it, of why you do things like this, and other people might listen to this podcast, and hopefully they listen to this podcast and say, no, Brian, you're wrong. He's just supporting the people that are working hard. He's trying to do the best to support the people, except the real support of people in that capacity. Because again, my background is product and engineering. So I know that if you got to work at 9 a.m. and you're still there at 9 p.m., you are not giving me your best work. Absolutely not. I'd rather you just go home and come back and we'll tackle it in the morning. In fact, I would prefer it. And if I were running the company, in fact, I would demand it. I'd be like, listen, your brain is no good to me now. You're no good to me when your family's disintegrating at home, when everyone's crying and fighting. You're no good. You need to manage your stuff. This is what they used to say in the 2000s. You need to manage your personal life
your work,
so you can come back and put in your best effort.
Yeah,
and then we would just ignore everything. The world is a more tolerant and more accepting place now.
I've been lucky enough to work for a company or two where they would say, well, you're still here at 9. We don't expect you to be here. This is a one-off. However, we'd like to send some, Uber some food to your family.
Yeah.
Right? Not, here's some smoothie, take it back to your desk and get to work.
Get back to work. If only I found the right smoothie mix, and we'll get more, squeeze more out of the rag. This, at first, it sounds like wisdom. It's also like the quality thinking, the high output management quality thinking from the 80s. Like it's all this garbage. It's just
we've been trying to rid of this for a while.
Yeah. I mean, like this is the Grove, the Andy Grove here. Judge people on the numbers that they hit. Judge the individual people on the individual numbers that they hit. Right. This is the, draw a line of my year end performance and the bottom 10% of performance. Like Facebook does this. They're very famous also for being a modern company that does this, not just like GE back in the day. Right. That are not based in anything. Some dude wrote a book and said it would be a good idea. Now, the Andy Grove point of measuring the output of the org, like that formula, the outcomes over activity, I sort of agree with conceptually, but the measuring the output of the org, the Andy Grove estimated that you can improve performance by 30 to 50%. But if a manager says, I can only measure output, what they mean is I've stopped looking at whether the system lets you produce anything, or, like that the work center that I've talked about in a previous podcast where one person was the maintenance developer. Like their PRs and their tickets and their bug fixes and all that stuff are going to look completely different. And you're judging people on, how many bugs or whatever that. Yeah. What are we talking about? We're playing a bunch of games. Now, every code change, every PR that I check in now is going to be, if I have to fix a color, I just put the color in the PR and I just plug that in by itself.
Sure.
And then the actual front end code change that applies the new color. It's another PR. Yeah. So I look like a hero.
You sure do. You may as well at this point go to, number of lines of code written.
I might as well. Listen, the LLM can help me with that. That's the one thing the LLM can help you with. Gaming metrics. Oh boy. A metric sets as a target. A metric set as a target.
Metric set as a target stops being a measurement, becomes the target. That's becomes what people strive for, just for the sake of hitting a metric.
Yeah, ridiculous. This section makes me aggravated because it's nonsense. The move here is don't measure output, improve the system, and improve the overall end-to-end. This is the basics of the goal. Like I can't remember. Like the goal is also an 80s book, right? The goal is like 82.
I think it might actually be even older.
I think it was written in the same.
Might have been
1984.
84.
Okay. So like
little newer.
Right around the time of this, like there's a lot of management consulting kind of like stuff coming out in the early 80s, all coming out right around the same time.
Yeah.
And seemingly opposite of each other. And of course, like now we think about our media landscape now. You've got a channel for these people over here, and then you've got a channel that's diametrically opposed. It says the exact opposite of what. Of course, they would have this, kind of stuff. But like, if you read the goal, it's going to tell you. Well, obviously, you can measure individual people and say like, "Oh, you're great. You punched out 100 widgets this month," and Brian, you suck because you only punched out 15 widgets. Not taking into consideration that like Brian only works on the worst widgets with the worst material. Like I only take the rejects from everyone else's pile and save them or whatever. And like the bug fix developer, that's what he did. He never worked on original code that he wrote. He only worked on other people's code bases, and he only worked on bugs. Terrible
guy.
Yeah, he never got promoted or anything because again, that's not where any of the metrics were judged.
Yeah.
So it looked like he was just, I don't know.
Struggling.
Yeah. Something. And that's it, and then the goal rat teaches if you're not looking, identifying, and then moving the bottlenecks, I mean, really, what are you doing?
Just promoting the counterculture.
Well, speaking of counterculture, I want to get to the point in this podcast that is the exciting reason for the whole podcast. So before we do that, comment with the most gamed metric that you've ever seen a team chase, or that you've chased for the world of individual metrics that the world used to be. But. It's like yes and, but it's like yes and. Sorry, I just throw that in there as a segue. All my segues from now on are going to be yes and. So
I like it.
Name a metric that you've ever seen your team chase. Yes and measuring the parts is gentle compared to where we're going next. When you learn what he calls, quote, the parts. So brace yourself, Owen. We're going to talk about the line that infuriated me and is the genesis of this whole episode, okay? It's his contribution to original thinking. So I'm not going to, because remember, this is his brainchild, okay? As far as I can tell, nobody else came up with this barrels and ammunition concept, okay? His original thinking says people are split in your company. People are split into two kinds, okay? Barrels, the few people who can ship things end to end, and everyone else, even the great people, are ammunition. I don't have to explain it because I'm going to let him explain it.
What I'm going to try to do is maximize the probability for success in editing the team. So I like this idea of barrels and ammunition. So most companies, once they get into hiring mode, as Sam pointed out, you should defer that for a while, but once you do, they just hire a lot of people. And they're like, you expect that as you add people, your throughput, your horsepower, your velocity of shipping things is going to increase. It turns out it doesn't work that way.
Sorry. I had to pause it because I saw your face where he's, everyone thinks you just add people and throw them at the problem and then your velocity gets faster. And I'm just sitting here looking at you going, no, actually, nobody thinks that.
Nobody thinks that. Exactly.
Nobody thinks that. We've all known that for well over 20 years, that it's not a up and to the right chart. It actually flattens out pretty quickly.
It actually goes down a little bit at first because, the rest of the team's supporting the new person coming in.
Well, this has been a tangent of actual experts talking about things that they know about, as opposed.
Usually when you hire more engineers, you actually don't get that much more done. You actually sometimes get less done. You hire more designers, you definitely don't get more done. You get less done per day. We can talk about why. But so the reason why is that most people, most great people even, are actually ammunition. But what you need in your company are barrels, and you can only shoot through the number of unique barrels you have. So that's how the velocity of your company improves, is by adding barrels, and then you stock them with ammunition, and then you can do a lot. So if you go from a 1-barrel company, which is mostly how you start, to a 2-barrel company, suddenly you get twice as many things done per day, per week, per quarter. If you go to 3 barrels, great. If you go to 4 barrels, awesome. Barrels are incredibly difficult to find, but when you have them, like give them lots of equity, promote them, take them to dinner every week, because they're virtually irreplaceable, because they're also very culturally specific. So a barrel at one company may not be a barrel at another company, because one of the ways, in the definition of a barrel, is they can take an idea from conception all the way through shipping and bring people with them. And that's a very culturally specific opportunity, specific skill set rather. So 2 questions probably are occurring to you is, how do you figure out who's a barrel and who's not? One is you start actually with a very small set of responsibilities. It can be fairly trivial. It can be something like, I want to reward the engineers that are in my office at 9 o'clock at night, every night, with a nice cold, fresh smoothie.
Can't listen to this guy talk about smoothies again. Hey, listen, you stock them, you shoot through the barrels, and then, you shoot through the barrels, and they do the important things end to end, and your velocity is just how many barrels you've got. It's a tidy little euphemism, isn't it, for something?
Very
I don't know
tidy.
I have no idea what it means.
I have no idea what it means either, but he also said you start with 1 barrel and maybe you work your way up to 2. Good luck scaling a company like that.
Is he saying that he's not a barrel? It's like maybe you start with 1 barrel? Like,
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess he's an advisor, right? So, an investor maybe.
This is the old drivers and individual contributors, or managers and individual contributors. Yeah. The Taylorism, where you had the foreman and the workers. Like this is just repackaged like stuff from 1914. The other thing I could repackage what he's saying is, like, you need to find natural leaders, and then they can take things end to end and bring people along that want to step up and follow a natural leader, I can go with him on that one.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, that's just, normal sort of leadership, just normal leadership, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that you're promoting the culture of people that want to get ahead and allowing them to do so by fixing their environment, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But to say most people are not barrels, right? Most people are not, he's saying. He's also saying just take care of the barrels. And then I think we stopped just short of when he said what the real success is to become a barrel. And that is to buy smoothies for your team.
Yeah. I don't think he knows, but also I don't know how many people would know, how do you take a person and develop them as a leader so they can rise to the level of effort of the other leaders that you have in your company? And first of all, it requires that you invest. Other than superficial, giving them smoothies and pizzas or whatever, you actually invest in the growth, sponsorship opportunities of that person. And that's dead. It's gone. That's dead. That's not nowhere in corporate America. And the other one is, I don't know, you actually have to care about people. That's I don't see that happening right now. But the few people matter. Like, these are on our Steelman points of few people actually matter in a company. Only the couple heroes are keeping your whole company moving, and the rest are just supply ammunition.
Let's just say they're dispensable.
Yes,
because ammunition is dispensable, right?
This is the Taylorist take. Taylor didn't like workers. He looked down on work. He did. Taylor was the educated class. He looked down on the most of the people working in factories in the Taylorism era were uneducated. They didn't even have shoes. A lot of the time. There's a story in the Taylor podcast that we tell about that. Anyway, go look at our podcast on Taylorism, arguing.
While you're doing that, I will advise people to get yourself a large pot of coffee.
That's right.
It's a deep podcast,
but
listen. Very meaningful.
Oh, it's Arguing Agile 52. It's actually it's actually Agile Podcast 52. The Principles of Scientific Management, Taylorism. It is 2 hours and 22 minutes. A little investment of time if you learn all about Taylorism, but the condescension towards the worker is really ringing through in this passage, which is the Taylorist school of thought.
Sure,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's ringing through. So, this is a school of thought. That's the ideology behind what's here. I mean, the practitioner's point here is like some people just make things happen. I put ship, but some people just they will things into existence, and I would say that's what you're looking at is not like, it's not like because they're better people. It's because they're more natural leaders than other people. So you want that, and you think that's good and valuable, develop that. Other companies have plenty of that.
You have a choice to make here, right? You have a choice to make, instill a culture where you do develop leaders for the next generation and the generation after, or you say, we are who we are, and everybody else is, dispensable and other bullets.
Yeah. So my takeaway, pretty quick: stop dehumanizing people. Grow up, man, and sorting them into barrels and bullets, and start asking what's stopping more people from driving at my company. If you actually ask that earnestly, you might be surprised what people tell you, and then you need to get to work on whatever people tell you.
If you're going to ask yourself that question, be ready to be surprised. You may not like what you see in the mirror.
Well, you also might not like what you hear, because the answer might be pointing back at yourself.
That's my point. Yeah. You won't like what you see in the mirror, right? Yeah. So you be ready to change that, hopefully.
I think what I learned in this category is don't ask uncomfortable questions, and you'll never have to deal with yourself. I'm super annoyed at this category. Let me know in the comments if you're also super annoyed. And once you've gotten that off your chest in the comments below, you'll get a like from me. Next thing is we need to figure out how many straws each camel can carry until they snap. That's right. We're snapping camels on the podcast.
No camels were hurt in the making of this podcast.
That's right. Not very many is what I'm saying. And so people are those camels. That's what I'm going to present to you in the next soundbite that we're going to listen to. It sounds flippant, but it is the real practice that he recommends for every single person that works for you.
Ooh.
So you want to expand somebody's responsibilities. Sorry, you want to cash in, sell out, bro down, or something. I don't know why I can't remember the 4 steps. It would have been a better plan than what he has. A better plan than he's going to outline for us here in a second. Here.
Treating people like camels. Just keep
Ooh.
loading stuff on their backs until they snap.
17, 18. Let's do this.
We had an intern start, and I think on his second day, I was explaining this problem, and he said, well, I'll do it. And I was like looking at him like, there's no way. I've seen my office manager fail, my assistant fail, all who are actually pretty good. This just isn't going to happen. And then lo and behold, that night they show up on time, cold, delivered the right place. And my first instinct was, great, not nothing about the smoothies, but okay, now I can actually give them something more important and consequential and complicated to do. And that's what you actually want to do with every single employee every single day, is expand the scope of their responsibilities until it breaks. And it will break. Everybody, like I couldn't run the world. Like everybody has like some level of complexity that they can handle. And what you want to do is keep expanding it until you see where it breaks. And that's the role that they should stay in, that level of sophistication. But some people will surprise you. There will be people who you don't expect with different backgrounds, without a lot of experience, that just can handle enormously complicated tasks. And so keep testing that and pushing the envelope. The other signal to look for is once you've hired someone, is with an open office, just watch who goes up to other people's desks, particularly people that they don't report to. If people start going to your desk, individual employee's desk, and they don't report to them, it's a sign that they believe that that person can help them.
If you see a wet spot on the floor, it could be, you might have a leak. Just want to. Any other inane advice that you need me to give you? Just want to say that the Fear Factory method he just says, like your explicit daily goal is to exploit people and then make their failure visible by just keep piling stuff on. And then once they fail, then that's the end of their career progression at your company.
Yeah, that's not how you're going to maintain, good people in your company. You're going to lose some talent doing it this way. Reputation that you get.
I don't know. He's a big Silicon Valley investor. I mean, how dare you?
He'll just get more camels. I get it. But at the same time, this is no way to run a business.
I mean, it's no way to run anything, to be honest.
I agree. And then some of the measurement things that he's talking about, like if you see people going up to somebody's desk, it's an indication that they are getting help or whatever it is. No, maybe they're just going to these people because they want to talk about the football pool they're in.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's just a human thing to do.
Stretch goals, they build people carefully. Stretch goals. Okay.
Yeah. Keep stretching them until they break, like the elastic band, right? When they break, they're no use to you, just like that elastic band.
You gotta stretch people with sometimes each limited time with horses. I think that's
yeah.
Until it breaks makes failure
what they
your
strive
goal.
For. Yeah.
That's your goal.
Right.
So I, as a manager, my goal is failure. And okay, I mean, I guess if this is a recipe for how to engineer a fear-based management culture, that makes sense. I wouldn't suggest doing it this way. You want to stretch people. Like again, this part of my career is over where I was like hiring people and I had a whole team that I managed that I hired and stuff like that. I don't do that anymore. But when you're putting somebody on their first project, for example, ideally you want to put them on a project with someone who has a successful track record of running projects. You couple them with that person, and over time the person will hand off more and more responsibility to them until they're running the whole project and they're supported by your other employee, and then eventually you take the employee away and then they're working without a safety net. That's the way that you have new people take over processes and responsibilities and whatever else with a safety net. That's how you stretch people. You don't keep stacking more work on them as people quit until they break and have to, go
therapy,
FMLA time off or whatever to, because they got to go to therapy.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a great way to lose people, is what I'll say. Because people will leave. They'll see this behavior and they'll not want to be a part of it.
Oh boy, it's like takeaway: stop loading people until they break, you psycho, and then start helping people stretch where failing is safe. And also, like what we talked about earlier, but like, are you their sponsor? Are you looking for new opportunities to help them stretch? What are we doing here? Are you just throwing stuff at them? Hey, you're doing this now.
Squeeze the most out of them, basically.
I get squeezing the most juice, but like, what do you, like, go run a juicer factory, like, dude? What are you doing? So, anyway, I'll leave it up to the audience. I'll leave it up to you in the audience to tell us, what's the difference between a stretch where you can grow and a stretch that crosses the line, basically.
Would you work for a company that basically asked you to do acrobatics without a safety net? That's what you're asking me.
I mean, or, your next 3 coworkers' jobs, because we gave you this AI tool. We pay,
Right.
whatever a month for it, which they don't even more now. They don't even anymore, because now they're paying API price. Now they're really suffering because they're paying API prices.
Right.
Yikes. So once we're all stretched to our breaking points, that's what I'm trying to say. Now it's time to grade everyone, because we need to wrap this podcast on the single worst idea in the whole talk. And I saved this one just for you. Okay.
Nice.
So this is the crescendo. This is his magnum opus. This is his final opus, Mr. Terrible's opus. And if you only remember one thing from this episode, for you to make it this thing, to stop managers from, quote, empire building, he proposes a formula, and I'm gonna let him walk you through the formula.
Natural tendency is to increase your headcount on your team, like sort of an empire building tendency. Oh, so I manage 20 people and Sam only manages 10 and you manage 3, so I'm more important than Sam and you're more important than you. One way to do that is you put an X here of the number of people the output, specify how many things they've done successfully, then divide by the number of people on their team and tell them that this is going to be their grade and their performance review. Shockingly, this Y doesn't start increasing on that team. It's amazing how this works, and be really explicit about it.
Yeah, there you go. Output over head count. It sounds like a clever anti-bloat hack, but it's a machine for getting managers to starve their own teams. Because if you can accomplish things and keep that output number, as high as possible,
with a minimal hit count.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Sure.
Because that's the way you're measured. That's what you're incented as a manager, is what he's saying. So
you're squeezing the denominator, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep the output constant. This is how people are graded. My question is, I'm not even going to ask you if they're happy. Is it sustainable to any degree?
I don't think happy or sustainable come into this, because remember, this is the era of free money.
Oh, that's right. They're just simply they're just simply ammunition.
Again, they're ammunition. There's a million bajillion people that want to work in Silicon Valley, and there's the next person in line, and the grade managers on output per head is that's his arguing point. His arguing point is exactly what we have in the cynical side here. And then with a little mix of what is in the academic part of the Steelman is, hey, we're just discouraging empire building by ratioing. That's all we're doing. The same as anybody in government will tell you, the way that you're counted as successful in government is you lobby, you get more headcount, and then your office grows bigger, and then you're there because you have a bigger office, right. You are therefore more successful. It doesn't actually have to do anything with accomplishing anything for anyone or making anyone happy, or those are not any of the metrics. So if there's anything in this category I'm learning is he doesn't know how to actually judge how good a manager is. Basically, he has no idea. He's ratioing.
Yeah.
The only pushback here that I would even engage with was 10 to 20 in his time, and now in AI it's even shrinking. And there's even talk about product managers with that share engineers, 0.5 product managers 0.5 engineers to a product manager.
Yeah.
Because you really only need an engineer if you run into code problems or whatever, and then they're not there permanently.
Sure.
And that's the new thing in Silicon Valley. I mean, it's new thinking, but it's not really proven or whatever, But small team ship and bloated teams slow you down. That's the only one I would engage with from a practitioner here, because that is true. Small team ship. There's an ideal team size. We all know that. But that's not what he's saying here.
No, he's not saying that at all. He's basically just simply saying, keep as few managers as you can, right? And keep your output constant.
Yeah, and
or grow it even.
Yeah, right. The other, keep your output number. Yeah, keep your output number constant is basically what he's lobbying for, because as long as it stays the same, as long as it doesn't diminish in size, that chart doesn't dip. You know what I mean? Then you're going to get the thumbs up from management.
Right.
You're doing a great job, kid.
Right. And then he's going to go back to what he said before, which is, load more straws on your camel's back. So for you as a manager who has those people that he said less than 20, he's going to probably charge you with, producing more output without increasing the denominator.
Yeah, I mean, this is typical 1950s management by numbers and ranking and stuff.
Exactly.
It's drawn on a 2x2, or it has a little formula or whatever, but nothing here is new or original or, well thought out, really. I mean, it's a bad metric. It's a bad metric. Anyway, I would say just go with Deming on this one, follow Deming on this one, and ignore this guy. Stop grading people on a ratio or any other nonsense like this. Start fixing the incentives that make the bloat feel safe in the first place. Don't grade people, don't draw a line or whatever and, measure people and not look at the system. It's all kinds of bad stuff happening in this category. There's so many bad things happening in this one category that it's almost laughable. And he's standing in front of a Stanford graduate or Stanford. I think they're MBAs, but I could be wrong about that. And teaching them this. That's scary, man.
That is scary. Any class for that matter. Yeah. Really. Yeah.
So let us know in the comments if you ever seen a manager game a quote lean team by quietly burning the people that they had or not replacing people as people quit and stuff like that. I mean, again, I can talk to you all day about this topic from my time with PE run firms, but I'd like to hear from other people. I'd like to pull together a counseling session, a group therapy session.
A seance.
Or a seance, yes. Yeah. For those of us that didn't make it. So here is the through line after 7 segments, okay? Every clean sounding rule in the talk: maximize output, find your barrels, stretch people till they break, all that nonsense. It all does the same thing. It blames the person for something caused by the system. And that's the one takeaway that I want people to walk away from this podcast remembering.
Yeah, absolutely. The only other one I can offer is always follow a camel in a desert because they know where they're going.
Always tie up your camel. That's right. That's what I've also learned from working on engines. What?
Oh, speaking of that, buy an electric car. You don't have to worry about his dusty engine or the V12.
Oh, so do you have any other favorite bad advice you'd like to throw out? We're just heaping bad advice on that. Like, tie up your camel. Don't tie up your camel. Free range camels.
Yeah, free range camels. That's right.
Well, like if we've helped you learn about camels, let us know in the comments.
And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe.